Okay, so good day, everyone. And today I'll be presenting my personal financial plan, but this will mostly tackle principles which I aim to adhere to moving forward with my life. So, without further ado, one of the first things that I aim to do would be to budget and track my expenses. So this will help me with my plans moving forward. So a lot of people are aware about the 50-30-20 rule, where 50% of your income is dedicated to needs, 30% on wants, and 20% for savings or investments. However, I want to modify this a bit and do a 30-10-40-20 rule. So this one will involve having 30% of my income on needs, 10% on wants, 40% for investments, and 20% on savings, given my current financial position. And before I do start, before I do start my investment activities, one of the first things that I really want to do is establish a separate account in my casa, specifically for emergency funds for 3 to 6 months. The reason why I want to do this is to make sure that when I'm already working, I have enough funds just in case there are some unforeseen circumstances, and to make sure that I am able to afford and recover from said emergencies. Now, one of the things that I also want to do with the 40% investments of my net income would be to invest in passive and growth oriented products. So, one of the first things that I've considered is that 86% will be for growth oriented products and 14% on passive oriented products, given my profile of me being a aggressive investor in a sense. But anyways, one of the passive-oriented products that I'm considering would be index funds and ETFs, specifically products such as the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. So for me, this helps me monitor um, the entire market in a sense, most specifically in what I've recommended, the US stock market, serving as a barometer in determining the health of the overall financial sector. Now, as for growth-oriented stocks, I still aim to invest in growth-oriented products. I still aim to invest in stocks, most nominally products that are focused on tech, but I also want to expand my stock portfolio to include local stocks because at the moment I am still very much focused on US stocks. Now, one of the long-term things that I also plan to consider would be acquiring tangible assets. So this one would be real estate and gold and silver. Now, going back to real estate, one of the things that I really want to do is purchase condominiums strategically located in or around universities and use it to become dorms that I can rent out in the future. Now, another thing that I also want to do in my personal financial plan, one of the principles as well is to reinvest earnings. So 60% would go back to investing in passive and growth oriented stocks or saving up to buy tangible assets in the future. Whereas a certain portion would go to a retirement fund worth 16 years. And lastly, 20% on myself for some occasional treats in case I do hit my financial markers. And lastly would be financial discipline and literacy. So this is in terms of making sure that whenever stocks, be it local or international, goes down, I don't base selling on emotions and ensure that I make informed decisions whenever there is systematic risk in the market. And lastly, buying financial products or services such as stocks or crypto based on hype. I would rather be using technical and fundamental analysis moving forward instead of just solely relying on the words of one person, oh, that this is a good stock. Because I've already fallen victim many times to buying things on hype. And I want to make sure that I do avoid such circumstances in the future. So thank you so much for the presentation.